What is up, everybody? My name is Famous and welcome to another episode of Pokemon Go. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 Pokemon that you should invest in Pokemon Go. So what I did was I took a look at all of the generations, got their CPs, and these are going to be the 5 Pokemon that do hold up over the test of time. If you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to like and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the list. The first Pokemon that I wanted to take a look at is Rayquaza with a max CP of 3,645. Rayquaza is a dual-type Pokemon of Dragon and then also Flying type. When we take a look at Rayquaza's stats, its best stat is going to be its attack stat, which is going to help it tremendously in the future. As you can see, it is ranked 3rd. The only thing that holds Rayquaza back is going to be its defense stat, ranked out at 126, but even despite that, it does get an overall ranking of 20th currently in Pokemon Go. But as many of you know, the defense stat is not quite as big of a deal, so if a Pokemon is going to have a poor stat, defense stat is going to be what you want to see. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the movesets. So Rayquaza has 2 movesets that are going to be double stab. The first one is going to be the more obvious one and what you would want to use Rayquaza for, and that's going to be Dragon Tail and then also Outrage, which is the ideal moveset for all dragon types. We can also take a look at a double Flying type moveset that may not serve quite as much of a purpose right now, just because its Dragon type moves are more prevalent in the meta, but I definitely thought it was worth going ahead and pointing this out that you do have a secondary option. So what is Rayquaza going to look like in the future? Well, Rayquaza actually has a Mega version. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up on the screen so you can see it. A max CP of 5,753, Mega Rayquaza keeps its original typing. So Mega Rayquaza will have this CP unless it does get nerfed like it was previously in Pokemon Go. So Mega Rayquaza is a Pokemon that you can invest your Stardust in and know that you will definitely get a return on it in the future. Let's go ahead and move on to the number 4 spot, and that is Tyranitar with a max CP of 3,670. Tyranitar is a dual-type Pokemon of Rock and then also Dark-type. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. Its best stat is going to be its attack stat. That is a common theme that you are going to see throughout this list. Its overall ranking is 4th because its worst stat is just its defense stat, and even though it is a worse, it's only ranked 40th, which is very, very good. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ideal moveset. It was previously Bite and Crunch. You wanted to use Tyranitar from a Dark type perspective, but with the addition of a move from Community Day, it's also going to have a secondary stab double move, and that's going to be Smackdown and Stone Edge from a Rock type perspective. So out of nowhere, Tyranitar becomes the best Rock type attacker while still keeping the Dark type title as well. So this is going to be a Pokemon that you can bet is going to be a good investment in the future. So when we take a look at the future Tyranitar, we need to be taking a look at the Mega version of Tyranitar. With a max CP of 5,190, it does retain its typing. Mega Tyranitar is going to be nearly unstoppable. Tyranitar is already dominant without any type of Mega form, so to have a Mega form, I really do think that Tyranitar is going to be a good option to invest your Stardust in now. Let's go ahead and move on to the number 3 spot. This is going to come to no surprise, and that is Mewtwo with a max CP of 3,982. Mewtwo is a pure Psychic type Pokemon. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. Its best stat is going to be its attack stat, and as you will notice, it is actually the highest attack stat that is currently in the game. It has an overall ranking of 10th. Its worst stat is going to be its defense stat, almost at 100th place, which is pretty crazy. But like I said, if it's a defense stat, it doesn't really hold it back as much as what it might in a actual Pokemon game. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the moveset. Because it has such a high attack, it could honestly just attack with whatever you give it. So the first one could be Focus Blast from a fighting type perspective. Then you can go all out Psychic with it. Unfortunately, it's not quite as useful because Psychic is kind of okay. It would need something like Future Sight to be the best, but it's still really good even though it doesn't have the ideal moveset. The third and final moveset that a lot of people actually use Mewtwo for is going to be Psycho Cut and Shadow Ball to attack from a Ghost type perspective. You would use this against Ghost Pokemon, and then you could even use it against Psychic Pokemon. But Mewtwo is going to be a Pokemon that is worth investing in the future. With an attack stat of 300, you can bet it's going to be an excellent addition in the future. But we do have two Megas that we need to take a look at. And that's going to be Mega Mewtwo X with a max CP of 6,186. Mega Mewtwo X picks up the fighting type, so now it is a dual type Pokemon. When we take a look at Mega Mewtwo Y, its max CP is 6,857, and it does retain its original typing. So both of these Pokemon are going to be absolutely incredible when Megas get added into the game. I'm thinking that this is going to be a Pokemon that you know you can invest in and know that it will be going to a good cause. Let's go ahead and move into the number 2 spot. When we talk about these Pokemon, we are not going to have Mega versions, but we do have something else going on with them from a future perspective that's going to be worth covering. The first one is Kyogre with a max CP of 4,074. Kyogre is a pure water type Pokemon. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. Its best stat is going to be its attack stat at 270, giving it a rank of 6th. Its worst stat is going to be its stamina. As you will see, it's only at 49th on its worst stat. Its overall ranking in Pokemon Go is tied with first with Groudon. When we take a look at the ideal moveset, we have Waterfall and Hydro Pump. So Kyogre is going to be the best water type attacker that we have in the game currently, but it's also going to stand up over time. It's going to be a Pokemon that you can invest in and know that it isn't going to go to waste. As it already is the top type of attacker, it actually is going to have some future value as well from its primal form. Its primal form, Kyogre, is going to be a buff in a lot of stats, and with that means that it's going to be even better than what it is now when it's already the best water type attacker in the game. This is going to be a Pokemon that is for sure going to be relevant in the future and is going to be a guaranteed investment that you know you will get a return on. Let's go ahead and move into the number 1 spot, and that is Groudon with a max CP of 4,074. Groudon is a pure ground type Pokemon. When we take a look at the stats, it's going to be the exact same stats as Kyogre, which gives it the overall ranking of first. Now, I do want to say that I'm not saying that Groudon is going to be the number 1 investment Pokemon on this list. I just simply did it by CP, and I saved Groudon for last because it does have a little bit of an interesting thing to talk about when we get into the future. So first things first, when we're talking about a moveset, as it stands at this point in time, its ideal moveset from a ground type perspective is going to be Mud, Shot, and then Earthquake. But Earthquake really isn't that great, but I could easily see Groudon getting a better ground type move in the future. It already performs very well and is the best ground type attacker, but if it gets a better move, it could actually be relevant in that sense. But let's talk about how important Groudon is in the game and how, even though we're not going to be doing a stab moveset, it can still do well. And that's going to be with the Mud Shot Solar Beam. This Pokemon can actually crack into the top 5, top 6 using a move that isn't even stab. It's one of those Pokemon that if it is a good move and it makes sense, Groudon is going to perform well, just like Kyogre and just like Mewtwo. So these Pokemon are definitely going to be a little bit diverse, and they can afford it because they have such high attack stats. But let's go ahead and talk about the future of Groudon in Pokemon Go. And that's going to be its primal form. But there's definitely something different about its primal form. Its max CP is 5,493, but when you check out the typing, it's going to be ground and then also fire type. If Primal Groudon gets stuck because the ground type moveset isn't that great, it is now going to be able to pick up the fire side of it. And if it ends up getting the best fire type moveset, it will easily be in the top 5 without a doubt from a fire type perspective. This is a Pokemon that you can bet is going to be worth investing in for the future. So now that we have talked about the 5 Pokemon, let's go ahead and put them up on the screen again so you can take a look at it. These are the 5 Pokemon that I would personally invest my Stardust in and not even have a second thought about it. I would say that Tyranitar is going to be the most interesting one to it because it just keeps adding more and more things that are going to be great for the Pokemon. Initially, not having a pure Rock-type moveset kind of hurt it, but now that it has it, it's already a great Pokemon, and now it's even better. So hopefully you did enjoy this video. This is something that I had a lot of fun making, and I want to hear from you. Which Pokemon do you think would be worth investing in for the future? We're talking about when all of the generations make it in. Which Pokemon are you most excited about? Be sure to leave it in the comments section below. If you did enjoy this type of content, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.